I got a slideshow that's just going to be a bunch of pictures of all our customers that we have, and just some ones I found on the internet, and a lot of them I took myself and friends have taken, but I don't know if which screen he's putting that on, but it was just basically anybody that sent in some pictures. So it's like if you see somebody up there that is a customer of ours running at least our rear sway bar setup, and a lot of them are running the whole package and motor mounts and different stuff that we make. A lot of you guys, I mean, I've been in this basically since the mid-90s, and I got in it racing and started with my racing with my grandfather clear back to 1915, so it's been in the family for quite a while. And my oldest brother got into drag racing, so that's what kind of got me hooked on it. And one year we had a rear engine dragster and couldn't get it to the racetrack, and we ran into a guy that had a Grand National that he wanted more of a race car, so we ended up doing a swap deal there, and I was kind of hooked ever since. It's kind of strange going from a rear engine dragster and be more excited about a Turbo Regal, but it's easy when you understand it. And basically it's just started making parts for my own car, anything I could break, which is quite a few things, and I'd make something better, and then my friends would be like, well, make me a set, and then make a couple sets, and next thing you know, I'm in business. And had some people saying, well, how come my 60-foot was so good? And I was like, well, I make my own control arms, and next thing you know, I'm making a set of 5 and 10 and off and running with that. And then we saw the problems with everybody twisting off the line and tearing their cars up, so we figured out a way basically with the sway bar. Buddy Dave England bought a Weldon version that used off of the boards, and we went to put it in, and then we noticed the guy cut the whole car up trying to get it out of there because the plate had half the guy's frame stuck to it. So we cleaned it up. We wanted to make it a bolt-in setup. Well, we did that, and we get ready to bolt it in, and we sit looking at it, and I'm like, well, where's the exhaust run? And it was right in the way, so we ended up, instead of mounting it in the frame and strutting to the rear end housing, we flipped it, and it mounts to the rear end and struts up to the frame. That leaves all the room for the exhaust to go through. So that was kind of the idea there, and as soon as we tried it, it was perfect first time out. It's literally every car we put it on launches like a pro stock. It'll handle way better on the street compared to the factory stuff. And it's like there's 2 settings on it basically that you can do. With the wide setting, running the axle brackets as wide as possible works great for drag racing and heavy duty street. And then if it's more of a daily driver, you're not racing it very often, you can put the brackets as narrow as possible, and that'll give the car more leverage over to the mounting point, and it kind of makes it feel softer. And those are for the guys that you could run a front sway bar or just the rear. A lot of guys, probably 90% of them, are running just the rear and not the front, which by the book doesn't make any sense, but seat of the pants, everybody loves it. So can't argue with what the customers give us for feedback. But probably the biggest thing for me recently was I kind of got depressed with everything just because I've been doing this stuff since 2000, and this was supposed to be starting as a part-time job to help fund my racing stuff. And anybody that knows the story with my neck, it kind of ended up breaking my neck and getting to where I couldn't race, so the car got sold to fund the business, and it's been 16 years and I haven't got back to it yet. And it just kind of hit me last year is like, why am I doing this? Because it's, I know customers appreciate it, and it makes cars safer and faster, but it's like, if I'm not even really breaking even at it, and I'm trying to figure out, why am I doing this? And I'm ready to go get a regular job or something. And it probably sounds funny to some of you guys, but I just kind of gave it to God. I'm like, you know what? Show me the way. I ain't doing it right. I don't understand this. It's like, show me the way. I'll do whatever you bankrupt it. I'll go do something else or make it go, and I'll take off with it. Just show me the way. And it was just then that the phone started ringing off the hook, and the business started taking off some more, and I started running into more people that were kind of got me going to church. And I tell you, that's a big change for me, and I wish everybody could feel what I felt from that. But it's one of those where I'm running into people that I can trust, that it's almost like it's almost like if you had a list of somebody that I could use for an employee, somebody that knows like internet, marketing, welding, machining, and all of a sudden this guy drops in my lap that checks all the boxes. It's like I mean, you call it a coincidence or Holy Spirit, whatever, everybody's got a term for it, but all I know is I'm thanking God for it because that's who I asked for it. And this year is going to be a turning point for me because I'm finally able to kind of catch up on some back stuff that I've been doing and that's been kind of holding me back. And my head is literally exploding with ideas that I want to make for these cars. And I keep seeing other people coming out with stuff that I had ideas 10, 12 years ago, and it's killing me to the point where there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out this year. We're actually caught up on inventory for the most part. It used to be like 2 to 3 months behind, and now we're getting to where we're caught up pretty good. But some of the new stuff we're getting into is, well, actually stuff we have done is the motor mounts. My website's so far behind, it's horrible. That's something else on the list to do this year. But the motor mount pins, people wanted the motors to sit in at a different height. So what we did was we milled a flat on them ahead of time, because if somebody was too high, we'd tell them to try to spread it apart, grind it, and so we just did it. Didn't change the price. It's just added a little thing we do to it, and now somebody can put it on the round part and it'll sit higher, and if they want it to sit lower, you just turn the pin and it'll drop down a little bit. So that was something we did. And on the sway bars, the way the bends are into the housing, we straightened it up a little bit so the narrow setting can actually go a little narrower to make it a little softer for the street guys, so there's a more wider range between the daily drivers and the drag racing. So we got those two into place. And then I almost had prototypes for this event, but we're doing an offset bushing for the upper ears. So to change the instant center, a lot of guys are looking at really intricate, changes to do that. This is going to be a simple pop it in, pin it, and you're going to get an improved instant center, which is going to make the cars hook up a lot better. And then we're going to work on the forward end of that. So, again, it's an idea I had 15 years ago, but the rules said stock mounting location, so we never did it, and somebody else makes it and they changed the rules, so we'll just get that one going. We're adding shocks, springs, probably get into the front suspension later this year too. We've been a dealer for Mosier, and we're going to kind of get that going back again. It's kind of like nobody knows we do it, so we just haven't been concentrating on that. We're adding the energy suspension body bushings to our lineup too, because that's something we've been trying to get with Dennis and carry his rubber ones also, but I think you're having a hard time getting those supplied, so might even figure out a way to make those with Dennis. Hopefully the big block motor mounts that I keep saying are coming, those are definitely going to get there. And we got a lot of frame braces we're coming up with, stuff for the front, stuff for the back. Going to do like a rear cross member that ties it together, so when you see the quarter panels buckling on the cars, it'll stop all of that. And it's one of those things that anything that'll make these cars go faster. It's just like I said, my head's exploding, and this is the year they're going to start seeing that stuff and get the website going, and hopefully a lot more happy customers.